All right, we are going live. D. Williams here. Hold on one second. Hey guys, we are live with our Staffingpreneurs Academy Q&A call this week. I am really excited that you all are hanging out with me this week. I have been going live over the last couple of weeks, really focusing on laying down foundation for building your recruitment and staffing agency business. Really exciting stuff. And if you're not familiar, my name is Dee Williams. I help professionals just like you set up, launch, run, and scale your very own niche recruitment and staffing business. And I love to do this. This is one of my favorite things in the world to do. This is not the only thing that I do, but it's definitely one of my favorite things in the world to do, helping people launch their ideas. I think one of the most coolest jobs on the planet is being able to take somebody's idea and help them turn it into a multi-million-dollar business model. And I am so thankful to be able to say that I have that gift. And staffing is just one of those areas. So I've been going live about staffing because the industry is changing right now. A lot of companies are laying off, but a lot of companies are also hiring. Different roles are becoming more prevalent than the traditional roles that we've seen in the past. And there's opportunity out here. And I'm talking about a lot of opportunity. And I really want people to be able to have an opportunity to chime in and to connect and to really build an idea, build a business that will help take them to the very next level. It's an exciting thing, to be honest with you. So I want to welcome you because this is my weekly Q&A call. We used to do two a day, one a setup and a run it class. Now we just do one core Q&A call, which happens every week from 11 to 2. We won't be on here for that long. However, I'm going to have a lot of fun, share my knowledge, share some of this good energy I got over here with you, and hopefully inspire you to not just believe in yourself and start this business, but believe that you can impact other people's lives. You can be a part of reshaping the world's economy and all of those great things. So I just want to say thank you for being here. If you're watching live, thank you so much for hanging out. This class is typically a closed class. It's not on stream every week through this class. So this is definitely a treat to have you here and to be open floor, open forum with everyone. If you are here in my class on Zoom, thank you so much for your patience and allowing me to stream live for the world to see what we get to experience on the inside of the Academy. The Academy's enrollment is open. So typically we have people coming in and out of the Academy at any given time, depending on what's happening in the world. Sometimes we got lots of people enrolled at one time. And then sometimes we only have a few people enrolled. Right now, we are in a space where we can consolidate my time and yours and open up more coaching time space for our AI initiatives that we have coming in here into Staffingpreneurs Academy, which I'm so excited to introduce soon. Okay. If you're watching the replay, what's up? Good luck, to you and to everything. And I really appreciate you watching the replay here through Staffingpreneurs Academy. We are honored to be on this journey with you and pray and wish you so much success. Okay. So now all the good stuff, we've gotten that out the way. If you're here live, I would just say, do me a favor and please, what else am I doing at? Okay, there it is. Tell me what your name is and where you're chiming in from. I would love to know your niche and what brings you here to my live, And I'm glad to have you here, but I would definitely love to know exactly why you're here. If you're here on my Zoom, please make sure you welcome yourself. Say good afternoon, good morning, whichever time zone you're in, and just let everybody in the Zoom know that you're here and you're present. And we're going to get started here in a few seconds. I welcome everyone. Lakina, she says, I'm so glad that I found you. You will help me land this government contract too. I definitely will. I'm very good at that. That's where I started out. A lot of my experience started out in the government contracting space. I have clients that I've helped successfully launch VMS systems in the government contracting space. MSPs in the government contracting space, all types of stuff. I mean, that's the stuff I love to do. So yes, you are definitely in the right place. So over the last couple of weeks, right, we have been really diving into what it takes to bring a multi-million-dollar recruitment and staffing business to life. And I want to say this video is really more of, even though we're going to learn things today, and I'll answer any questions that you all have, I want you to know that this is more of my call to action to you to say, stop wasting time with it, right? No time is ever the right time, or every moment is the right time, rather, right? So we want to not be wasting time. We want to focus on getting the business up, getting the business going, and making things happen now. We don't need to wait. We don't need to think about it. We need to start implementing, learning and implementing right now. And y'all know I'm going to get into, my spreadsheet and all of those things. I'm not going to go backwards. I'm only going to go forward. I'm going to share my screen here in a minute, but I want to remind you that this is very important, not just to you, but to the world, to the industry. Everything that you're doing here is creating some level of impact. And so when you procrastinate and you say, I'm going to do something, you don't do it, it affects not just you and your future, but it also affects the people who are depending on you to actually unleash your idea and bring the staffing agency business to life. The world needs you, period. Okay. So let's get it. Let's not waste time, but let's do things the right way, right? You don't have to spin your wheels or anything like that. And so this business model is one of the poppinest business models out there still today, with I think 3 to 5% growth scheduled for 2026. So the staffing industry is not scheduled to go backwards. It's scheduled to expand. It's scheduled to grow. I want you to be a part of that. I want you to come into this business model with an idea of how much you want to generate annually, right? Well, how much you want to generate. What does my staffing business generate? Everybody knows first year, like, I want to generate, you should be saying $1 million minimum, right? That should be your bare minimum. But over the next 10 years, what are you looking to generate in revenue and sales? What are you looking to generate, right? You should have some type of financial goal in your mind. Beyond your financial goal, you should have some type of vision of what this agency looks like. A lot of you are building a staffing agency with no vision. And I'm not talking about the vision statement that I do need each and every one of you to have for your business, but I'm talking about a vision of who you are, what your business looks like, what your team looks like, where your office is, how the business is functioning, just what's the vision, right? Because in order for you to go somewhere, you've got to have a vision of where you're going. And so that's very, very, very important. And I need you to have that vision, and I need it to be clear. I know in the next 10 years, I'm going to be running a $50 million staffing agency with multi-locations across the country, people working virtually, people working in office. We'll have one international location in Dubai where we'll focus on these types of clients. We are speaking at conferences. We have so many applicants. What is the vision? Okay, because that's what you are ultimately creating. It's not just what you're putting in the spreadsheet. What's the vision? What are you building? Okay. Once you start to understand the vision of what you're building, and you got a goal, you got a financial goal, then you want to start focusing on having an impact goal. What type of impact am I creating in the world? What type of impact do I want to have on the industry that I'm supporting? All very important. Okay, all very important, because many of you are coming into this business and you're not coming in at a high level. You're coming in at a very low level, meaning I just want to make money so that I can and that's great. I want you to want to make money. That's the type of people we need to run this business. But we also need people who are trying to create an impact, who are trying to be a part of the change, who are trying to be a part of the evolution of whatever industry they're in: healthcare, finance, engineering, IT, who knows? Right now, we're allowing other people to create our world for us. No, we are the people, okay? So when we open these businesses and we start to add our secret sauce into the mix, it's our work that goes in and reshapes the economy and reshapes what happens right now. We have the power to do that. And we do that by starting a business that will create impact. So what type of impact will you create for your industry. If you're in healthcare, we know there are major challenges going on in healthcare. How can your business be a part of reducing something, adding, increasing something, whatever the case may be? You know what I'm saying? Like what type of impact can your company create? Very, very important. Once you understand that part, now you want to start really putting the pieces together and talk about how can I bring this business to life, and how can I bring it to life in the most efficient way without spinning my wheels, right? I'm doing it in a way where I'm actually generating revenue. A lot of people want to skip all the things you need to do to be able to generate revenue. I'm going to spend just a few seconds on the setup. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to spend a few seconds on talking about money, because I feel like every week I should remind you about the possibilities financially that you can achieve with this business model. And then we're going to talk about running the business, actually running the business. Hello. All right, there we go, Nature Things. Thanks for being here, Nelly. Hey, Nelly in the house. Good afternoon from Indy. Don't forget to like, share. That's right. If you're here watching, please like this video, share this video. If you're on my YouTube channel, subscribe. Definitely would love to see you there. Hey, Dr. Rice. We used to seeing you on the call. She's on YouTube today. Love it. All right. And so let's share screens. Let's get in and let's kind of dive into this. We know that D is very, 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 very specific about the setup of your business, right? Are you setting the business up in a way to where it is compliant and that you're not skipping steps, right? And we talked about what that entails initially. When you are first setting up your business, you've got to take into account some very important things. Number one being that you have to set time aside in your schedule to learn. Okay, this is realistic talk here. This is not fake social media. Okay, I'm not doing that. This is not fake social media. This is real talk, realistic things that you need to do in order to bring this business to life appropriately. Okay, so you need learning time, period. You need time to learn. You're going to have to learn. This technology is everywhere. Okay, so you're going to need time to learn. You're also going to need planning time. Okay, so once you learn how to do something, then you've got to be able to do something with the knowledge that you have. Okay, doing something with the knowledge that you have requires you to plan things. I don't want you to just learn and implement. That's not how smart executives or how smart CEOs do business. They just don't. They literally don't. They plan, they learn, they plan. Okay, after you learn and you plan, you do. That means you have to execute. Some of you are procrastinators out here. That's okay. This is what coaching and training is for. It's to help you go from level, point A to point B, from where you are now to the next level. But you have to execute. And there are people who spend a lot of money and never execute for whatever reason. Okay, we don't need that. We don't want that. We want executors. So you've got to make time to plan. You got to make time to learn, and not in that order, learn, plan. And then you've got to make time to do. Those are the most important things. And so over the weeks, I started putting together a different version of the checklist that'll allow us to see not only what steps do we need to take and what those assignments are under each step, but what type of assignment is it? What type of task am I doing? And how long is it going to take me? And can I build this business in a day, or will it take time? Some people think Rome was built in a day. It really wasn't. And your staffing business is not going to be built in a day. So be easy on yourself. Okay. So just as an example, the first thing you should do is learn how the business works. That's the one thing most people don't do. Okay. We have a roadmap that we put together for you so that you can get a good idea of how the business works. I'll show you that roadmap right now, at least a version of it. Okay. That's a version of the roadmap. This defines really how the business works. We're talking about 3 different layers of business. You've got your candidate journey at the top. You've got your employer journey at the bottom, and your journey is in the middle. And you're responsible for managing the process between the candidate and the client based on the service offering that you are providing. So, and depending on the service offering that you're providing will define which part of this process you will utilize. So not all of them are going to be utilized at one time. So really being able to look at the roadmap and to be able to say, okay, what does this mean, D? Talent attraction. How do I do that? Okay, D, what does this mean? Okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? And looking at each bullet point to understand that portion of the process, how it fits into the whole scheme of things, really understanding this is nothing for you to do here, but to learn. That's it. Just learn. All you got to do is learn, learn, learn. And you can do it in about an hour. Okay. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is to go in and start building the business out. But it's not in a way that you think it is. A lot of people make errors and they start going out and doing different things. I've built so many businesses. I'm telling you, there's actually a sequence to starting a business. There's a sequence. There's a solidified sequence to starting a business. Okay. And a part of that sequence is when, where, and how you start doing things. For example, you never, ever, ever legalize the name before you buy the domain, ever in life. Most people don't know that. Most people go and legalize the business before they buy the domain. But you really want to buy the domain first before you legalize the business. If you are building a staffing agency, the name is important. You don't want to put the word staffing in your name. Most people put staffing in their name. So it's like you really, there are things you really want to do and you want to do it in a certain way. And so we started to put together all of those different things and identifying how you're going to be utilizing your time so that you can have as much structure as possible in actually getting this business up and going. And everything that I have on this checklist, you are to build in sequence. Okay. Don't skip, don't do one and then go down to the other. Don't do that because these things build on top of each other. Everything happens in an order. Like I said, it's actually like a little rhythm to this thing, right? Of how you go in and do things. And so this was our master. This is what we're working on. I'll have the master finished this week. I'm so fired up about it. And as I've been, oh my gosh, I've been doing a lot of different things with that. But then I started working on the Run It, which I haven't started fully. I mean, this is the next phase after I run the setup. And I wanted to run this with you all today because, again, when we're talking about not wasting time and setting up the foundation and doing it right from the very beginning, that is about understanding your business model and what you're building. So we already talked about reviewing the roadmap, learning how the business works. As a matter of fact, we could probably just go in and just utilize the same, structure. Like, so let's just go in and let me just make sure. There we go. Copy. And we stick that in the Run It. And then yes. So perfect, right? That and I'll go in and structure it or what have you again the way it was, but we know it's learning time. We know our minutes, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm very happy with all of that. Let me go here. I thought I highlighted that learning time. Let's go back. Learning time. Is that where it's at? There it is. So you have your 60 minutes and then you have your 1 hour. Okay, so perfect. So we're going to keep everything the same as we did with the setup. The next thing that you want to do is to understand the daily routine of a staffingpreneur. This is where I feel like things get very interesting. So we've got to get into managing and your scheduling. And I know I set up these time blocks for you. If you remember, we have a master calendar that I know everybody wants. I should give this calendar away for free. I think I am. Just because I feel like it's one of the most important things that I've created for you all. And the people who are actually taking the time to implement the calendar and to utilize it, they're actually moving along in their business a lot smoother. I've given the calendar to a few people, but they're not utilizing it. And it's not going to work unless you utilize it. In order to be an entrepreneur, especially if you've not been one before, or if you're used to working for someone full time, it really is important that you restructure your calendar. That's the thing that I feel like is probably the most uncomfortable thing about becoming a new entrepreneur. Like when you work for someone else, you can pretty much, your schedule is probably a little bit more free, right? Outside of whatever you have to do with your wife, husband, your kids, whatever. Like you have more freedom. When you're an entrepreneur, you pretty much are living by your calendar, right? Your calendar is everything. Like I promise you, if it's not on my calendar, it's not even real. Like I don't even care if I tell you we're going to meet at 5:00. If it's not on my calendar, it's not real. And so I have to schedule my days. I have to schedule my nights. I have to schedule my dates. I have to schedule, everything so that I'm able to touch everything that I need to touch and that I need to be responsible for by the end of the day. So that's the number one thing. The number one thing is getting your calendar together. And really, when you start getting your calendar together, you're going to realize that the next thing you probably want to do is to start putting together a checklist, right? So I think I'm going to move my numbers down a little bit because the checklist, oh, yes. I feel like here we want to start your daily checklist. Okay. Because I'm telling you right now, you're going to need to keep track of things. You're going to need to keep track of things. And it's going to get very crazy trying to do that when you have a full schedule. So when you're managing your schedule, you want to probably take about, I would say, this is learning time. I would say probably about 30, I would say just for people who need a little bit more time, 30 minutes to learn how to utilize the calendar and to set up your calendar to plan it out, right? So the first thing, and I'm going to just go through it really quickly. We have a key. We should go through the key today. I think that's going to be important. We have a full-time calendar. If you're working in the business, we have a part of, let me just see, because I closed some of these. Wait, let me go back in. So you have a full-time, let me open them all up. I was hiding some of these. So let's go here. Part-time calendar setup phase, full-time calendar setup phase. And what I did was I did like a sample so that you can see what it looks like. If you notice, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. If you notice, I blocked out the time that I know I'm not going to be available as a part-time. If I'm a part-timer, it's 9 times out of 10, I'm working another job or what have you. A lot of my nurses and my doctors, my physicians, my NPs, your schedules are sporadic. You got to figure it out, right? You might have a different schedule every day. So you're going to have to block out accordingly and then create time for yourself where it makes sense. But this is a sample of what it looks like for somebody working full time and then they're trying to start their business. That WOTB means working on the business, okay? Not working in the business, but working on the business, like putting it together. Notice Sunday praise, start my day tasks, all of those things. Here's a sample full-time calendar. So that means you're working in the business full-time. This person has started their day at 6 a.m. making time for themselves. And then they're going into working on the business from 7 to 11. They're taking a 2-hour lunch to watch anime, hopefully dance, listen to music, read a book, talk to your mama, whatever the case may be. And then you're going to go back into that business from 2 to 5. Then you're going to reset for dinner, talk to your friend, chat with your coach, whatever the case may be. Then you're going to dive back into the business. If you use this schedule, and you would actually get your business set up rather quickly. And you could really, like in a couple of weeks, right? You could really make some magic happen. Some people would even go in and work on Saturday and Sunday. My coach always told me you don't get a day off until you make your first million. If you're taking days off and you ain't clocked your first million, something ain't right. That's what my mentor told me. So I've always lived by that rule that I work 7 days until I make my first million. Then I work 2 days a week. Right. But, you got to get to that first goal first. You have to earn your stripes to be able to do that. So those are samples. Give me 1 second. Y'all hold on. I'm going to close my door. I get a little claustrophobic sometimes. So hold on 1 second. I'll close the door because it's just loud. Sheesh. All the buses and everything was going by. Looking crazy. This sounding crazy. Okay. So now we have the, and that was the setup phase. So let me go back in here and do, what's happening? Delete. Okay. I know what I did wrong. I'm supposed to be hiding this sheet. And I'm supposed to be hiding this sheet. Okay. Now, sample part-time calendar, running the business. That's what we're going to be talking about today, running the business. So if you're running the business, then your calendar might look different if you're working a full-time job. If you are running the business as a full-timer, okay, then it would look a lot more like this. It'll be a lot more colorful, okay, because you've got more time in your day to work the business, which means you have time to do a number of different things. And that's going to be very, very important, all right? And so what I did was I went in and made a part-time calendar and a full-time calendar. And I actually should do both of them like this because I don't know how your day starts, right? But some of you wake up at 4 a.m. And go to sleep at midnight, and 4 hours of sleep is enough for you. For some of you, not so much. So you've got to make these calendars work for you. And then you define when your workday starts. When I say when your workday starts, the exact time that you're going to start working, okay? Working for your business, on your business, working for you, not for someone else. So when you get the calendar, what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to define whether you're based on your schedule. And then you're going to go in and look at the times that you're not available on those days and start blocking them out now. If you got to take the kids to school, block it out. If you got to go to church, block it out. If you got to go to an event, block it out in real life. And this is just your sample calendar. You'll eventually, turn it over to your real calendar. But this is just so that you can get some structure and organization in your business. And you need this. Do not skip this. You need this. Okay, so you're going to block that time out and you're going to start defining what tasks you want to do. So at the end, I put start my day task, start my day SMDT, and end of day task, EOD, right? That's what we call end of day task. And these are the things you're going to start putting together. Like, what do I need to do every day at the end of the day, no matter what, before I close out my business? What do I need to do every day, no matter what, when I start my day for my business? And I guarantee you're going to want to check your email, your phone, your SMS, your DMs, your sales navigator, your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok. And then you're going to check the intake in your ATS to see what resumes have come in. You're going to start following up with them. And then you're going to start your checklist for the day. What do I need to do? Now, 9 times out of 10, you did a checklist last night before you left, right? Because you did finalize, create tomorrow's to-do list. So when you came in and you did all of these things, 9 times out of 10, some of those things from that checklist you had from the day before is probably going to be checked off on that list. So when you create the checklist of the day, you really already have a starting point from the night before. And you're just revitalizing it and making sure that it's everything that you need it to be for the day so that you can start your day. And that's why we went in and the key, and we created SMDT, which is, why isn't it? There it is, SMDT, start my day tasks. Like, what task am I going to start working with at the beginning of the day? So tasks that I need to complete at the very start of my day. Okay, period. And then the next one are the tasks that you need to complete at the very end of your day. I'm going to just do end, and I'm going to just be smart here and just say start, right? So these are tasks that you're doing to complete at the end of the day. These are the tasks that you're doing to start your day. I'm going to actually move this up. Actually here further. Working in the business right there, making time for me. Okay, so let's kind of go through some of these things that you're going to have on your calendar right now, because that plays a role into what we're going to put on the on our checklist. So working in the business, right? So working in the business means that you're actually recruiting, selling, It's all of the tasks needed for the business to run. You're actually working in the business. My little hands today. You're actually working in the business, okay? And then I'm going to say, i.e., recruiting, sales, lead generation, sourcing, onboarding, training, consulting, etc. Okay? So those are all the things that you might be potentially doing in the business. Working on the business is very different. Okay, working on the business are the things that you do as a CEO. These are the tasks that need to be completed for the business as a CEO. So you're working on the business, right? So this would be, i.e., getting insurance. This would be changing the business name. Right? It might be getting a new certification. Working with your coach. Hey, okay. So different things like that, things that are going to be, these are non-revenue generating activities. Now, a lot of people get caught up in this space right here. They will only be doing the non-generating revenue generating activities versus doing the other ones. And you've got to find time to do both. I'm going to just add, these are revenue generating activities. Okay. So working in the business, you're generating revenue. Working on the business, you are not. Okay. So you can't spend all your day working on the business. That's why we have time blocks for that, so that you can define what days and what times. And then that's when you're supposed to go in and schedule your appointments during your working on the business time. You know, like if I'm working on a business twice a day, let's just go back and look at that, the calendar. So I'm going to do the full time running the business, working. There you go. So if I am, let's see, working, I got making time for me. Do I have making time for working in a business? I don't even think I put that on here. So that's something we didn't add it on here, right? So that's something we would definitely need to add. So let's just go back to the key, and we were on working on the business. Let's go back to the sample. And let's just say I'm working on the business on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. Okay. And I'm going to go in and change with that color, and I'm going to make it fuchsia, just whatever. And I'm going to go back and work on the business again from 7 to 8, let's just say. At 9 a.m., my calendar is going to be open, and I'll have specific calendar links for people that I need to schedule an appointment with me during that time, so that that time slot is available specifically for that one thing. Whereas if at night, most companies are closed, that's when I'm going to do things like fill out applications, maybe, do whatever I need to do, right? And it could be vice versa, but I'm just saying that needs to be time that's separated, that's set up separate from whatever else you got going on. And you might do that 3 or 4 times a week. I don't know what makes, what feels good to you, but you know that once I start working on the business, you're shifting gears. You're now not focusing on other things. You're focusing solely on working on the business, because that is what's important in this moment. There are things that have to get done. This is time management 101. Okay. This is time management 101. Thank you, Jane. Dr. Rice said guilty. Okay, she said guilty. Jane said, I love this. Dr. Rice said guilty. Chandra said, absolutely. Y'all are on fire today. Natalie said, the Bible says decent and in order. Hey, let's go, Nat. Yes, that is exactly right. But these things are very important, and you get everything done. You just have to sit down and take your time. And that's why I say it takes a moment to like kind of start thinking about how do I want to structure my day. But notice, I mean, I don't go to church, but notice I just put it in there because like you still want to have your life. You still want to be able to do things like, you know, outside of those hours. On Saturday, you might spend 4 hours and do nothing but time for yourself, for the kids, for the house, whatever the case may be. But if you're going to be serious about bringing this business to life, not just a staffing business, I'm talking about anybody, any type of business. If you're trying to accomplish anything, forget the business. If you're trying to really accomplish something, I'm talking about get past procrastination and really accomplish something, you have to manage your time differently. You have to. It's going to require a different version of you. It's going to require a different version of you. So I did enroll in a real estate school, y'all. And my time blocks have changed because I started in 2 weeks. And my schedule is changing because now I have to study. Now I have to also, and I'm also a teacher. I teach adults. So not real estate, but business. So I teach setup, I teach scale. And I not only do I teach, I consult and I implement my team and I. And so like my life is changing right now in a lot of different ways, So I'm like you. I got to do the same thing here that you all have to do. So, but it's going to require a different version of D. Williams to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish over the next year or so. But I've got to tell you something. I'm going to share this with you and I'll go back to the calendar. I was just telling my friend this. I said, listen, why it's important for me to make the next move is because when my birthday comes, and my birthday is January 30th, when that day comes, I need to be able to look in the mirror at myself and know that I accomplished something within this last year, that I don't look the same, that I'm not the same, right? Like I'm just keeping it real because and I don't know how y'all feel. I don't know how you do things, right? But in real life, if every year you wake up, your new birthday, you look the same, you sound the same, you're talking the same, you with the same crew, you're doing the same things, you got the same lifestyle, everything, nothing has evolved, elevated, or changed. It's time to reevaluate. And that's very, very important to me. It's important to me that I'm always reevaluating who I am and where I'm going. And so have I reached that next version of myself? Am I moving closer to connecting with that next version of myself? Those things are important. And so this calendar, managing, creating this time block is a part of that next version of yourself. It's a part of that evolution. And I need you to really tap into that. That's what I want you to do. Tap into that so that you can see that next version of yourself. Okay. So let's dive back in here really quickly. All right. So let's go back to our key because now we have working on the business time. We would go back and do working in the business. If you're just setting up the business, you're not going to have any working in the business time, right? You're only going to be working on the business. Now, how about making time for me? It is exactly what it says. You have to do something for you. Now, let me say this. This does not mean do something for your children. Okay. This doesn't mean do something for your spouse. This doesn't mean do something for church. This doesn't mean do something for your best friend. This doesn't mean, I ain't talking about none of them people. Okay. Not one of them people. This is making time for who? I'm sorry, I hear you. Who? I didn't hear you. Making time for who? Oh, okay. Right. That's right. Making time for you. That's who it's for. This is something you're doing for you. Maybe this is, if you're D. Williams, I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm watching anime. Oh my gosh. I'm building technology. That sounds like work to you, but to me, it is orgasmic. I am probably swimming. Okay. Y'all find me in a pool. You'll find me hiking. You'll find me dancing, naked, don't tell anybody, listening to music in my house, okay? You will find me at a live jazz. I love live bands. You will find me on the phone talking smack to my mama. Okay, on the phone with mom. All right, and just telling her about my day. It may be me meditating. Okay, I read a lot more than the average person, I'm sure, which makes me dangerous. That's why people don't want to talk to me, because I'm just not programmed right. Okay, I read too much. I'm too knowledgeable. What else am I doing? I have a new friend, so spending time with him, hanging out with him, right? So it's just like anything that has to do with you that makes you happy. Okay. Oh, just let me just say, working out. That should be the number one thing on your list, because you can be rich and can't do nothing with the money because you're sick. So working out, taking care of your health, just anything that has to do with you, you have to make it you. Because if you're not, then you won't have balance. And with this business, you need balance. You need to be able to come in and out, and you need to be able to show up a certain way without feeling overwhelmed. And so if you only are focusing on your day job and building your business and not putting time aside for you to do something for you, you're going to find that you're not going to complete the business, and you're going to focus solely on the day job. Like all of these other things are going to happen. So it's very important that you take time out to make time for yourself. That's very important. And then again, make time for your family. You got to do that. Luckily, my children are grown. They have not had any children yet, so I don't have any grandchildren. So the only time I really have to make time with my kids is if I want to call them and talk to them or go visit. They come visit me. You know, I do talk to my mom, spend time. My dad has passed. I do family things, but I have been a mom my entire life, literally. And my children are like, Mommy, go live your life, basically. Have fun and don't think about us. And I really appreciate that, because I'm starting to understand what that means. I didn't get that opportunity as a little girl. So make time for your family. Okay. That's pick the kids up from school. I'm going to just do that, like i.e., pick up from school, pick kids up, cook for husband and family, cook for a family, date night with husband, or wife or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Like just different things like that, going to the movies, the park, stuff like that. All right. We already talked about start my day tasks. Now, and I didn't do an IE of start my day tasks, because I think IEs are good to give you some perspective. But that would be like check email, check voicemail, create to-do list for the day, etc. Right? Train me time block. Train me time block means you have to put time aside to train yourself on things. Like I told you, you got to learn things. So I know you don't, for some of you, that I've worked with, you're like, I just pay somebody to do it for me. And I'm not against that. You should definitely, if you have the resources, pay somebody to do it for you. You should absolutely do that, but you should require them to teach you how to do it, so that you can at least have understanding until your team is big enough to where you don't need to know. But in the beginning, you do need to know, because you're starting off small and you're the only person working the business, right? And if something goes wrong, you're going to want to need to know what's happening, how to fix it, what to do with it, all of that stuff. You're going to want to need to know how to do those things. And so when you have 50 employees or more, then not so much. You don't need to do that then. You're in boss mode then. And that's not going to be as important. The odds of you going from 50 employees to 0, unless something really crazy happens, is slim. You get 100, you don't have to do that. But in the beginning, when it's just you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got to know how to do everything, which means that every time you buy a piece of technology, you have to take the time to sit down and learn how to utilize it. Every time that you buy a service, because some of y'all just be swiping. I'm watching, just swiping, buying things, trying to implement it, and don't even know how to use it, right? So we're not doing that. So time for me to train myself on whatever I have purchased and need to use in my business. But mainly what you purchase, because most of y'all just keep purchasing things and you don't learn how to use those things. So it's time to train yourself. You have to do that. Okay. The next one, this one says time to internal source. Okay. This means that you're sourcing for talent that will work in your company internally. So you are looking for talent to work in your company internally, i.e., it might be an HR manager, it might be an executive assistant, it might be a recruiter, it might be a salesperson, it might be a sourcer, it could be a credentialer. It could be a chief financial officer. It could be a payroll specialist. Okay. It could be any, I'm just giving you examples. So people who are working in your company to help make the company run. Time for internal interviews. So looking for talent and interviewing them are two totally separate tasks. So you are interviewing, and I'm going to just pull this down actually, because it's pretty much the same thing. So you are interviewing talent to work in your company, okay? And then the hiring is more of like getting the paperwork together, onboarding, different things like that. Orientation, training, etc. Okay, so that's your hiring talent. Now, time to train the team. Okay, so let's go and copy this. This isn't about you anymore. This is about your team, the people that you're bringing on internally in your company, preferably, that you need to train on different things. So it's time for you to train my team on whatever I have purchased. I would say it's time to train on processes and procedures. Okay, how to do things in the company way. Period. Okay, so i.e., you might be training the team on how to use Loom, how to recruit, right? How to submit a contract, how to, whatever the case may be, right? So that's just you training the team. Now, managing the team. Now, some of you might be saying, well, that's kind of, no. Managing the team is very different than training them and interviewing them and so forth. And you have to have time to manage them, and you can't sit and manage them all day, not initially. So managing the team is time to manage the team. And the work and the outcomes of the work that they are doing. Because for you, outcomes are the most important thing. Okay. Now, time for sales research. And this is you doing this, actually. In an ideal world, well, ultimately, this is you working in the business in real life. So I could actually move this down right here. And this is working on the business as an owner, but this is working in the business. And the one thing I didn't do was to colorize it. I think you should, right? So I think you should actually go in and give each and every one of these a color. Whenever you get a chance, we can go in and change the text if you need to. But like literally all of these should have some type of color. So therefore, you don't have to go back in and do it again. And I'm just being weird and just doing each color as coming along with no thought process in the color. You might feel a lot differently. So I would encourage you to just have fun with it, but go in and just create colors. Okay. And then the ones that are dark that you don't like, go in and just change the text to white and then it shows up a little bit differently. Okay, change it to white. And then the ones that are on that, then you have them, and then you know, and then now when you go in and you go to copy and paste them, they already have the color in there for you. You don't have to worry about going in and doing all of that stuff. And let's see how beautiful that is. Oh my God, that's so bad. Okay. So we're talking about working in the business, time for sales research. So you're going to be researching who to call. I've got a couple of clients right now that should be running their business and they BSing, right? They're just not doing the work that needs to be done. And this falls in line with actually running the business, how you're running the business. There has to be time for sales research where you're going in, you're researching people who you can go and do business with. So this is you looking for hiring managers to connect with and to start the conversation with. This is just research and gathering contact info to add to your applicant tracking system, i.e. link. I'm just saying, I shouldn't give away my secrets. Google News research, LinkedIn research. I can't give all my good stuff out. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to go hard, etc. Okay, so just give you an example. Oh, maybe you're going in and you're doing website research and getting contact info. RESEARCH. Okay. All right. Now, time for sales calls. This is where you're actually going out and making calls, where you're actually dialing for dollars. Okay. Yeah, dialing for dollars. Okay. So calling employers, introducing yourself. Asking questions, making connections. So a lot of you think that, and I gave you the IE here. This is the IE. A lot of you are afraid of the phones. Don't be afraid of the phones. Embrace the phones, because not all phone conversations are sales calls, even though it might be in the sales call time block. Right? Some of those phone conversations are you talking to somebody who is connecting you with somebody else that you should be getting in contact with, which can be a very enlightening conversation. No sales at all. It is sales from the perspective that you're putting the word out, but you're not really having a full sales conversation where a contract is in place and different things like that. A sales call can also be the call that you have when you're meeting with the employer and you are actually, solidifying the contract and solidifying the deal. So it could be, contract signing. It can be presentation, right? That's just sales calls. It doesn't necessarily have to be just a physical call. It means this is our power hour where sales activity is happening. This is money generating, revenue generating activity that's happening here. Okay. These are revenue generating activities. I need to put this one right here in green. Although it looks like, okay, perfect. Maybe not. Maybe not. This is me being anal, y'all. But let's see if we can get a version of green. Yeah, perfect. Because this is also revenue generating activity. These are revenue generating activities. A lot of times y'all are not doing enough revenue generating activities. You're doing everything but the revenue generating activities that need to be done in order for you to generate revenue. And then you're wondering why you're not making any money. Okay, that's because you ain't doing revenue generating activities. RECRU. That was missing an I, and it was driving me crazy. Okay, so if you're watching YouTube, please like, subscribe. Please like this video, subscribe, no matter what channel you're on. Just want to throw that out there. Okay, so you're now dialing for dollars. That's your sales calls. Now, actually, this should probably go in front of this because this is lead generation, and lead generation can happen in a lot of ways. This is this is where you're going to go in and you're going to find leads based on research and marketing strategies. Okay, so this might be, you might be getting leads from your inbound email marketing, or I wouldn't say email marketing, but I would say maybe inbound marketing, email marketing, outbound, right? Ads. You probably have lead magnets. You got contact information from your lead magnets, right? You are, maybe you got a cold call list. Those are all examples. Okay. But this is lead generation, and these are also revenue generating activities. Okay. Now we have time for marketing. Oh, let's go in and just put some color on this. Put some color on it. Hey, I don't know if this is the next color I was supposed to use. I think it is. And then I think, this is it. And then I think this is it. Is that, yeah. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Just add some more colors in there so that we can make sure that they're already, we'll have to keep going back, picking the colors over and over and over again. That doesn't make sense. When we have them all right here. But these colors look the same. I'm not for it. Let's open that up. I actually am not even for this. That looks too similar to one of the colors above. Let's open that up. Let's go in and let's maybe, let's, yeah. Oh, that looked too much similar. So let's go. Ooh, maybe only two more. Let's go. We can go. Okay, now y'all see what I be doing when I be hitting for myself, talking to myself. No judgment zone. Okay. Now you're gonna go in and let's just lighten these up a little bit. Let's lighten them up. Woo. Okay. And now we have all of our colors in there. So perfect. So now time for marketing is exactly what I'm saying. It's time for marketing. That means this is where you can go in and do social media marketing. You can go in and do your webinars. You can go in and do, any type of marketing you need to do for the business. This is what you want to do. And in the beginning, once you start running the business, you might want to have more and more time for marketing. But this is all the things that you need to do to market the business, i.e., all the things I just said: social media campaign, live webinar, a round table, a golf tournament. You heard what I said. A networking event. So that's if you create the networking event. I'll leave that off. But it could be any of those things, right? So that's all the things you need to do to market the business. You also might have LinkedIn marketing. I'll just do this. LinkedIn automation. You might have email automation. Okay. Time for networking online. So networking online is a little bit different from a networking event. Okay. So I'm going to start with the networking event first. But the networking event is a networking event that you're either going to attend or that you are going to create. So it's an event that you will either attend or create that is specific to the business or your niche market. Your market should be at this event. And the IE, which I already said it in the beginning, is like a so I have like 50,000 things in there. You might do like a just a wind down Wednesdays. I just did that. Just WDNED, right? You might do a nurse brunch. You might attend a conference, etc. Right? So you might create. You might create a nurse brunch. You might attend a conference. So I'm just giving you perspective on how that goes. You're either creating or attending these networking events. Okay. And so if you're networking online, that can be a number of things. So this is an event. So you can do this as a number of things. So networking online is connecting with people online who are in your network, i.e., reaching out to influencers and conversing. That's the easy way to influence, right? You're going out, you're taking time to reach out to influencers. You might be on Reddit, or I say Reddit, or what is it? Stack Overflow, or Quora, right? You might be doing LinkedIn sales navigator, like feed, where you're connecting with the people there. So it can be done a lot of different things, right? So a lot of different networking online could happen there. The next one is time to external source. So we did internal source here. This is external, so it's to work for company. So you're looking for talent to work for your company. Okay, externally as a contractor or as a staffed out. Let's just say staffed out. All right. So this is typically whoever's in your niche market. Right. So it might be nurses, it might be developers, it could be, whatever, right? So whoever you're placing, that's who that's going to go for. So that's, their time for external interview. We can go in and for your company, right? And then we just do the same thing here. These are actually revenue generating activities as well. And so I want to make sure that I notate that. Let's just add that there. I think that's very important for you to know, because a lot of you, again, will do things that have nothing to do with revenue. And then you'll wonder why the business is not working. And it's like, you ain't doing the stuff that you need to do to make the business work, right? There we go. So these are revenue generating activities. Okay. So interviewing talent. Okay. All right. Now, time to credential candidates. This is you are credentialing the candidates. You're doing the background checks, right? Doing the background checks, drug tests, checking licensure, you know, getting the declinations. Let's all whatever you know, tests, assessments, etc. All of those things, right, are very, very, very important. Then you have time to onboard your internal team. I need to pull this up because we are in our external team right now. So that's after hiring you on board. Here, you're onboarding your external. And then I probably would move onboard clients up because after you do sales calls, then you kind of go there. I don't know. I'm kind of putting this in order in a way of how things work, I guess. So now we got to go back because we got to do the onboarding of three different people. So onboarding your internal team, you are getting them ready to do the work you actually hired them to do, i.e., setting payroll, I'll just say setting up pay or access to pay. Let's just say the access to set up an access. So set up an access to pay role. Okay. This is where you do, I mean, you can do onboarding. So let me see what I did right here and hire. Yes. Okay. So no, not okay. So that's perfect. So I set those up differently. I didn't even realize I did that. So let's take onboarding off of here and we can still keep orientation there. Then this is in training because that's really more of like setting up new hire worksheet, tax forms. I did all of that backwards, all of that stuff. That's your hiring and all of that stuff. Here, where we're setting up the payroll, we're onboarding them. We're really pretty much setting up their payroll. This is after they get started. So that's the hire before they get started. That's to get them started. So this is you're getting ready to do the work you actually hired them to do after they get hired. And then, you know, yes, and then schedules, access to equipment, software, and then it's going to be training, right? I mean, I don't need to put training in there necessarily because we have a whole training block for them, but it will be essentially. And then same thing here. But oh no, that's clients. This would be your candidates, your external team. But here, they're probably not going to have software equipment, not as much, right? Because they're working directly for the employer. They're going on site to the employer, so the employer will give them all of that stuff. So, but you still want to onboard them into your staffing agency because you are still their employer in real life. Okay, they're in real life. They're still you are still their employer. So you want to get them ready to do the work that you hired them to do for your employers. They need to be onboarded into your company first. So again, this is a little bit different than because they're not going to probably have very little software other than pay, how to get paid, stuff like that. but you still have to onboard them with looking at the like handbooks and rules and all of that stuff. Okay. What to do, in the event things happen, just stuff like that. Okay. And then the final one is time to onboard your clients. Most of y'all aren't onboarding your clients. Most of you all will get a new client and that's it. It's the number one way to lose control over your contract when you don't onboard your clients. You got to onboard your clients. So onboarding your clients after the contract has been signed, you want to have a meeting and onboard your client with rules and expectations for both parties. And you're just going to clarify, when to schedule interviews, how to schedule interviews, who will interview. I have a whole list of things. How long it takes for you to respond back. What about rate changes? That like all of those things, right? These are things that you all are now in a working relationship. You all have to define what that working relationship looks like for the both of you, and that you want to be on one accord with that. So having that onboarding, for your client is very important. So now we've gone in and we've got a great idea of exactly what it is that we need to be doing every day in the business. I actually left a couple of open spots for you to go in and for you to complete on your own. If you have things that I missed, these are things that I know that you need. But I might have missed something and you might need to add more space. So that's there for you to add. Maybe you have a special friend time, with your friend girls, y'all do something. I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there. These are revenue generating activities. Credentialing is 1,000,000% a revenue generating activity because you can't place anybody without them being credentialed, period. Let me see, what is this? Time for networking event. This is a revenue generating activity. Okay, these are revenue generating activities. Let's see about this. Networking online, revenue generating activity. So when you tell me, D, I'm not making money, I'm going to have these questions with you. Like, are you doing any revenue generating activities? Like what revenue generating activities are you doing? Notice though, compared to everything else you got on your list, they're far and few revenue generating activities. Okay, they are. And so that tells you that you have to be very, very, very specific when you're doing things. You can't just willy-nilly do things. Okay, you have to be intentional about the things that you do. All right. So now you got your calendar. We put this together. Now let's go back in and go to our master. And here, what did we do? We started saying the next thing you want to do when you start the business and you learn how the business works is you want to understand the daily routine of a staffingpreneur. So we already talked about 30 minutes to learn. It took us an hour really to learn how to utilize it and to put the schedule together. So I'm going to up that time a little bit right there. Okay. And then managing and scheduling your time blocks. That's finalizing and setting it up for the calendar for the day. I'm going to keep it at 30. And then I'm going to put 60 minutes here so that you got an hour to kind of play with how you want to structure your calendar out. This is going to be planning and doing time, I feel like, because you got to go in and look at your calendar, look at the kids, look at the schedule, whatever, to see what they do, right? And you're going to go there. Then you're going to go in after this is you learning how to do the business. You're going to go and understand the routine. You're going to manage the schedule of your time, but I'm going to keep this at 60 minutes. I have to, because I'm probably going to use this video. And I want to make sure that you really understand. Then you're going to actually go in and update it. Then you're going to start identifying your daily opening activities. Okay. And we already know what that is and how we're doing that. So daily opening activities, we're going to go in. This is doing time. Okay. And then that's what you're going to come in and start this. So I'm telling you what to do day one. Okay. Now here you are learning, but this is really what you would probably do every day. You would go in, you would look at your activities, your calendar, make sure you got your plan. Then you got your daily morning activities. Then you have performance activities that you have to complete daily. And so right now in the beginning, I would probably more want you to learn these things than to actually do these things, but these things are very important. So performance activities are the activities, they're revenue generating activities, first of all. So let's make that very clear. These are performance activities right here. Lead generation, recruiting, sales. You know what's missing? I have source and interview. I'm gonna put recruit and interview because it's kind of different, but they go together. So let's pull this over here. Now this is me being anal, y'all, so don't judge me. Okay, so that, and then this one was external recruit and interview. I was going to say I didn't take time to recruit. But you source, recruit, interview, onboard, right? That's kind of how it goes. But yes, so let me go back because I lost my train of thought just trying to get everything together. So performance. Okay, so your performance activities are these green things you see, right? These are revenue generating activities that you're going to do every day in your business. Now, if we were in Crelay, the ATS, you would know these performance. I don't even know if my client has theirs set up yet. Let me go in here. These are performance right here. Phone calls, text, email, candidate follow-up, sourcing, text, email, LinkedIn, reference checks, submittals, interview with a client, interview sent out, offer extended, pass, client meeting, LinkedIn connection request, sales call, cold visit. Like all of these are revenue generating activities. Okay. So that's the next thing you're going to be doing, right? Performance activities to be completed daily. You want to make sure you complete those daily. And this is also coming in again at the time where I'm telling you that a lot of people are not spending their time appropriately. They're not moving their time appropriately at all. They're not putting their time in areas that's going to be beneficial for them in their business. So performance activities are very important to list out, to make sure that you have an idea of what you're doing. But these are going to be doing times, okay? Employer marketing activities. We already talked about that. You're going to be, developing, marketing. You're going to be marketing. You might be doing a webinar. You might be whatever. You're going to be marketing. Lead generation activity. So all of these things are things that you're going to, and this is more right here is understanding. Okay. So this is more of an understanding. So really, to be honest with you, this is not doing, this is learning, but you will be doing these at a certain point. But here in this in the sense of this checklist, you're pretty much learning. I think it's too, because you do those things later on. So all of these are learning. So just getting an idea of how to do those things. Okay. So learning about those things, and closing activities. But that's really what you're going to be doing during the day. Let me just keep it real with you. Okay. Keep it real with you. And here you're going to probably be looking more like that. We're going to spend time with each and every last one of these so that you understand the business. A lot of you think it's just one way and it's not. Okay. Then you're going to start your daily checklist, okay? Which naturally, this is not, you don't need to learn how to do the checklist. More than anything, is just like implementing it, right? So it's implementing. So I will do learning time for training for the checklist, which is totally fine. But the next piece is actually going to be implementing the, writing out the checklist. Habits and staying organized. Okay. And look at you. I gotta move you down though, unfortunately. Let me just pull you down. As you can see, I didn't put all of the little steps up in that joint. Let's put that there. All right, I can work with this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I won't get anal about this. I'll come back and fix it. But you'll see, this is what we're working on over the next couple of weeks. Just kind of going through, just maybe 2 weeks, and then I'll be ready for y'all in real life. So I got a new schedule. So I'm very excited about my new schedule. Okay. So start your daily checklist, which we did. And this is going to be doing time. Writing it out is going to be doing. And you don't really need 30 minutes, but we'll give it to you your first time. You don't need a lot of time to write out a checklist. Okay. And then let's get rid of some of these. All right. And then before you officially start, learn how to source candidates. So this is where you're really just kind of going into training, right? And really starting to learn how to, because now you're going to start diving into so much technology. But I would say, honestly, because let me just take a look at this checklist for a second, because we should actually be complexity, define niche, Control F, ATS. All right, let's see. Talk to your ATS. 1, 2, 3. Set up your ATS. Okay, so we are already setting up our ATS, so we don't need to set the ATS up yet. But what we do need to do, and let me just see if I put it in here. I did not. Perfect. What we do need to do is to start. That's what I thought. We need to. I'm going to go back here. And see, I got to go back and do this. So I want to do this with y'all. We're going to go back here. And number 4 is actually going to be add candidates to my ATS. Add employers to my ATS. That is the thing that you're going to want to do first. Oh no! I got to go back. I got to go back. Shit. Let's go back. I wonder what happened to my list. Let's go back. All right. Next. And let's start there. Okay, there we go. And this one was add 50 to 500 candidates in my ATS. And then you're going to want to do the same thing for the employers. Bare minimum. Okay? You want to get them in there so that you can start just rolling up in there, because you already got your ATS, and this is one of the first things you want to do. Okay? So you might have to learn how to add candidates to your ATS via resume, LinkedIn, What was the other thing? Lists, imported lists, etc. Okay. So that's your learning time, which it should only take 30 minutes, but we'll put 60. And then you're actually going to add the candidates to your ATS. So you're going to do two things. You're going to add, connect with 50 candidates per day on LinkedIn, and then add 50 to 500 candidate profiles / resumes in your ATS. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing with the employers. For the employers, so I also want you to, with the employers, this would probably be a great time to do it. I want you to set up your sales nav lists. Okay, and save the contacts, right? So you want to set up the list in sales nav and add your 50 employees. Set up your list, add your employers into your ATS. So you should have hopefully 1,000 records. Anybody who's only putting 50 in, they tripping. Okay. Hopefully you should have 1,000 records in your system, 1,000 profiles, 500 candidates minimum, 500 clients minimum. If you're using one of the softwares that's got all of the data, you should be able to put 10,000 in there. Personally, the more the merrier, because when you start dialing and emailing, you're going to see whose numbers are real, whose numbers aren't. You're going to see, who's you're building a relationship with, who you're not building a relationship with. Like all of those things are going to come to fruition at one time. So it'll become very, very real, very, very quickly. So to connect with, this is going to be per day. This is going to actually be doing time. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of scroll this down here. And this is actually going to be doing. And this is going to be doing. And you're going to be doing this every day, right? You can get 550 to 500 people or more, depending on your source of getting the stuff. So I'm going to just like say 60 minutes. And it doesn't take that long. I would just say 30 minutes for you to connect with people per day. And then let's go in and just here. So 60 doing, let's see, 60, yes. Connect with 30, yes. Set up your list in Sales Navigator. That's going to take a second. So that's 60. And then add your things. Okay, so that's totally fine. I feel like for that, and that's your starting point. I feel like we should kind of start from here. I don't know, but that's what you want to do first, right? Let's get that off the mark. Get them into your ATS. Oh. One more thing. Did I have you doing this in the launch? Oh, I did. I had you doing this before your launch, which is totally fine. Find and add employers, plan your execution strategy. But some people are not going to launch appropriately, so I still leave it here. And if you've already done it, then you already have it. So that's totally fine. But what I didn't see is, so you got your, so y'all see I'm doing this live, right? You see, my brain is moving fast while I'm doing this live. You got your checklist, you got your candidates in your ATS, you got your clients in your ATS, in your phone, ready for you to get started with phone conversation day one. Why am I missing one more thing? Well, you don't have your automation set up, but we don't know how what your marketing strategy is going to be at this time. Your intake, post your jobs. That's what I was looking to see if the jobs have been posted. Nope. So post your jobs. I'm gonna just add that there because I don't see it here. Set up your job boards. I see you set up your job boards, but I didn't see that the jobs were posted. So we want to add that there. And then we're gonna put this. Now we got to move this down. We getting with it. Okay, we making this happen. All right. Here. All right. Now post your jobs in your ATS and job boards. Okay. So here you're gonna post internal jobs, and then you're going to post all external jobs. Period. So you're going to post them, and you're going to post these jobs in your ATS and on job boards. Okay. And you can do exactly what it's going to look like. This one is going to be 60. This is going to be 60 and 60 for the first time. Okay. Now we can go into learning because now all of this stuff is going. Because what needs to happen is we need candidates coming into your intake. So that's why the jobs have to be posted. You need your candidates inside and your clients inside the ATS so you can already have a pool that's in there. And then, so one of the, let me just go back. Okay. I just didn't want to forget that because I know what comes next. Okay. So we got, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like this is really getting real. Okay. So now we managed the schedule. We've written out our checklist. Okay. Then we have, then you're going to get your candidates in the ATS. You're going to connect with your candidates on LinkedIn. You're going to add, you can also set up your sales navigator for your candidates if you want. You can definitely do that. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Set up your lists for candidates and clients. Totally cool with that. Totally cool with that. Totally cool with that. And yeah, I'm gonna stop right here because I'm getting out of control. And then now we're gonna go into training for you again because the more you do it, the better. And this time when you're doing it, your business is fully set up and it's real. So this is more live hands-on training than it is where you're just learning from me and you're trying to picture how it's done. By the time you get to this point, you're going to actually now have candidates in your ATS that you can source from. You're going to actually be doing things live and different things like that. And when we come in next week, we can definitely start there and just kind of what that's like, because a lot of people think because they have a network of nurses or they have a network of somebody that they can just skip this part, but you can't skip this part. I hope I didn't do this wrong. Okay, I think I did this right. Man, let me move this thing here. Let me move this here, and let me move this here. Let me move this here, and then let me move this here. Oh my gosh, I just had heart palpitations. Y'all know I'm really anal, so don't judge me, please. But I like things to be a certain way. And there we go. I think that's a little bit better. How to negotiate the contract, how to onboard the client, how to manage the employer hiring process, how to hire internally. Come on with it. All right. So now we got it laid out. And I'm glad I walked through this with you all because I wanted to know. So I will add these a little bit in the launch, not all of them. So by the time you get here, for some of you who don't launch appropriately, by the time you get here, you may not even have to do these things, or you might just be filling in the blanks for what you weren't able to accomplish to get ready for the launch and different things like that. But if we do the launch right, you'll already have these things in the system, at least these things right here. And a little bit of this, you'll already have it in the system, and you'll bypass that and you'll start going into some of these other things. But I can't fill these out officially until, honestly, we got to kind of know what you're planning for your strategies, because your strategies need to be implemented in here as well. But that's a whole different story, and I'm getting out of control right now. But do y'all see we getting way closer, way closer to, one, re-recording the academy in the way that I want, but having a fully, I feel like a checklist. This is the master of all checklists of all time in regards to setting up the staffing business. But as somebody mentioned, they were watching my videos. They was like, D, this should be used for like really running a business as a whole, because every business needs to hire internally anyway. I was like, you're right. Like, so this is very, very powerful, the things that you're putting out here. I'm like, thank you. So it's true though. Because staffing is about finding people, and you are setting up a business. So whatever business that you're putting together, this model will definitely work for you, even at the bare minimum. So it's definitely a big deal. Let me see what the comments are saying, because I'm not even in the comments. So our core. Nellie, my girl Nellie said, if anyone is looking for nurses, the perfect place to start is the Cafe of Hospitals. Ooh, okay. I've never even heard of that. The Cafe of Hospitals sounds pretty dope. Okay, I gotta check that out. And then y'all talking. Sister usually is on this call too. So she's on YouTube live. And then she's talking to Dr. Rice. I see my guy Ronaldo is here. So great to see you, Ronaldo. I love that. Listen, again, I always want to know where you're from, what's your name. So if you haven't shared that with me, please let me know. I would encourage you to go to staffingpreneursacademy.com, schedule an appointment, and just talk to me. And listen, when you schedule an appointment, it's not via phone, it's via Zoom. So don't think D ain't answer the phone. No, it's via Zoom. So you just schedule the appointment, show up to Zoom. It's a 15-minute call. We can sit down, talk about what you got going on. Even if you don't have a staffing business and you're watching this video and you feel like I can support you, just go ahead and schedule a call. And we can talk about, because I work with a lot of other businesses and so forth. But that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about starting a staffing business and bringing that staffing business to life and doing it the right way. And those are the things to me that are the most important. Those are the things to me. So I don't know if anybody had any questions. I open the floor up for any questions that anybody might have. Y'all were so quiet, just listening intensely. I love that. Do me a favor and like this video. Oh my gosh, please like this video. Do me a favor, like this video. Oh my gosh, I worked so hard today. You see I'm sweating. I I'm sweating. The least you can do is like this video. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you have not gone to my YouTube channel, I would encourage you to come to my YouTube channel because it's a lot of fun. I'm always got stuff going on. And I'm always teaching something new. Like I said, my schedule is changing over the next couple of weeks. We are re-recording the Academy, which I'm very excited about. I am going back to school, which I'm very excited about. My life is very much so changing and expanding right now. So my schedule is changing and expanding, but I am in it for the long haul. My clients keep teasing me and saying to me, D, I thought you were quitting staffing. I have tried. Genuinely, I have tried. But I have so many long-term clients that are making millions of dollars in real life that leaving has been that alone has been very challenging because they hire me and rehire me every time they're ready to scale. And so I'm not sure that I'm willing to let those things go. When I think about it, at the end of the day, I want to be there to see them hit the first million, hit the first 5 million, hit the first 10, 15 million. I think it's a beautiful thing. And they trust me and they know that that's where I can get them. So it's kind of hard to leave it from that perspective. And then also it's some people out here who are faking like they're real coaches and like they really know how to build and scale a staffing business, and they robbing mofos out here. And once the person realizes that their money has been wasted and they're robbed, they end up at me. I'm so thankful that I can be the person to support them and to save them from whatever, situation they've got into and to lead them in the right direction. All of those things are very important to me. So that's what has made it hard for me to leave the staffing industry. I genuinely love recruiting. I love sourcing. I love selling. I love staffing. So it's been very hard. But I think I'm figuring out a way to be able to do the things that I love to do and to still maintain my staffing lifestyle. So I only do staffing 2 days a week right now. But I have one client who is new and I think his schedule doesn't allow that. So I have to figure that part out. But for the most part, everybody else, they're on my staffing schedule, which opens the door for me to still be able to build tech to support staffing, still be able to train and coach, which you all know I love to do. I love to train and coach. And I haven't been traveling, but I definitely want to get back on the road, and start traveling again a lot more. And when I go on the road, just so you know, people pay me to come in and work with them one-on-one, hands-on to build and scale their business. So instead of doing it over Zoom over an extended period of time, I typically spend 3 to 5 days with them in person. And I actually go through getting them compliant, teaching them all the things I feel like they need to know, and just doing as much as we can to get the business set up in a very quick manner. And then we meet online every week over the course of however long their contract package is to get them from point A to point B. So I'm used to being on the road a lot. I have not been on the road as much. I've been working with people more virtually than on the road, but I'm excited to get back on the road again as well. And yeah, I'm preparing for my birthday, for my new year, the new version of D. Williams. And I'm hoping that each and every one of you are coming along with me. I'm hoping that each and every one of you are thinking about what next year looks like for you, this next version of you, what that looks like, because the investments that you make in yourself today will definitely reflect next year or not. And the or not is what scares me, and it scares me for me and it scares me for you. So I want to let y'all know I love y'all. I genuinely appreciate y'all. I will see y'all next week. I'm sure everybody's in my live class on my Zoom. You'll see me next week regardless. But for Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you may or may not see me next week, but probably will. I want to finish this out with you all, and I would love for you to be on a journey with me. So you'll see me the same time next week. So chime in. For everyone else, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for watching the replay. Thank you. And let's get our outro going. Love y'all. See y'all in the next video.
Unleash your ideas. No time to wait. Build your dream. Don't let it escape. From the vision to the code, from the thought to the sale, you've got the fire. Now set your trail. 'Cause empires rise where ideas ignite. is your moment. This is your life.